Hello everyone. Did you know there's a tree that shoots its seeds at 150 miles per hour? Or one that's been thriving in a desert with no water for 400 years? Trees aren't just green giants. They're some of the most bizarre, mysterious, and downright magical wonders on Earth. Welcome to our wild journey through 13 of the most unusual trees you didn't know existed. From a cursed oak wrapped in chains to a forest that's actually one living organism older than civilization itself. These trees will leave you speechless. Stick around because you won't believe what Mother Nature's been hiding. So, grab a seat, hit that like button, and let's dive into the weird, wonderful world of trees. Imagine a tree straight out of an action movie, lobbing its seeds like tiny grenades at 150 miles per hour, faster than a major league fastball. Meet the sandbox tree, a wild resident of Central and South America's tropical rainforests, and hands down one of the most dangerous trees on the planet, growing 50 to 70 feet tall, about the height of a 7-story building. This tree sports glossy leaves and small, pale green flowers, but its real claim to fame is its explosive fruit. These fruits are like nature's firecrackers, encased in a tough shell packed with seeds and sticky pulp. When ripe, they burst open with a bang, shooting seeds at speeds that could outpace your car on the highway. That's why it's nicknamed the dynamite tree. This explosive trick keeps hungry animals at bay while scattering seeds far and wide to grow more sandbox trees. But wait, there's more. The whole tree is toxic. Its seeds carry a nasty toxin called hurotoxin that can cause serious trouble if eaten. Locals in some areas use the tree's latex for traditional medicine, but they handle it like it's radioactive because it's that dangerous. Some even craft jewelry from the seeds, but it's a risky job, like handling a live wire. Despite all the exploding and poisoning, this tree is a key player in the rainforest ecosystem, proving nature can be as thrilling as a blockbuster. So, next time you're hiking in the tropics, watch out for this botanical badass. The Baobab prison tree. Imagine a tree so massive, its trunk could wrap around a small house, up to 45 feet around. The Baobab prison tree in Australia's Kimberley region is a 500-year-old giant, and it's not just its size that makes it stand out. This tree, originally from Africa, but now an Aussie icon, carries a heavy story from Australia's colonial past that hits hard, kind of like the darker chapters of America's own history. Back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, British colonizers reportedly used the tree's hollow trunk as a makeshift jail cell for Aboriginal prisoners on their way to a nearby lockup in Derby. It's a grim reminder of the systemic injustice and violence faced by Indigenous Australians, not unlike the struggles of Native American communities here in the US. The tree stands as a living witness to that brutal era, and today, visitors come to reflect on its history, much like we visit sites like Gettysburg to honor and learn from the past. What's wild is how this tree even survives in the scorching, dry Kimberley outback. Its trunk stores huge amounts of water, like a natural water tank, helping it thrive where most plants would wither. Now, the Baobab prison tree sparks conversations about reconciliation and justice for Indigenous Australians, serving as a powerful symbol of resilience and remembrance. It's a must-see for anyone exploring Australia's complex history. The rainbow eucalyptus. Get ready for a tree that looks like it belongs in a Dr. Seuss book. The rainbow eucalyptus rockets up to 246 feet, taller than a 20-story skyscraper, with trunks nearly 8 feet wide. But it's not the size that steals the show. It's the bark, which peels off in strips to reveal a mind-blowing palette of pale green, orange, red, and purple, like a canvas splashed with tie-dye paint. This dazzling display shines brightest in its native rainforests of Indonesia, the Philippines, and New Guinea, where the colors pop like a fireworks show. Trees grown elsewhere just can't match that vibrancy. Think of a faded mural versus a fresh tattoo. It's no wonder photographers and nature lovers flock to these tropical hotspots, snapping pics for Instagram that scream bucket list. The rainbow eucalyptus is proof that nature can outdo any art gallery, making it a must-see for anyone chasing the wildest wonders of the world. Bottle tree. Meet a tree that looks like it could star in a quirky roadside attraction. The bottle tree, a standout in Australia's rugged Queensland outback, gets its name from its swollen, bottle-shaped trunk. Think of a giant natural water jug baked under the desert sun. This tree thrives in some of the driest, hottest conditions down under, where rain is rarer than a snowstorm in Texas. What's its secret? That bulbous trunk can store up to 26 gallons of water, enough to fill a big cooler for a tailgate party. This built-in reservoir keeps the tree going through scorching dry spells. Plus, its roots dig deep into the earth, like a straw, tapping into hidden groundwater, making it tough enough to outlast the brutal heat of the outback. It's no wonder this clever tree is a symbol of survival, standing proud in a landscape that'd make a cactus jealous. The bottle tree is proof that nature's got some serious tricks up its sleeve. The chained oak. Get ready for a tree that's straight out of a haunted Halloween tale. The chained oak, tucked near Alton Village in Staffordshire, England, is an ancient oak over 1,000 years old. Think back to when Vikings were still raiding coasts. This gnarled giant isn't just old, it's wrapped in a chilling legend that's got locals whispering and tourists shivering. Back in the 1800s, the story goes that the Earl of Shrewsbury, who owned the nearby Alton Towers estate, crossed paths with a mysterious old woman in the woods. She asked for a coin or a scrap of food, but he brushed her off. Big mistake. She cursed him, declaring that for every branch that fell from this oak, one of his children would die. Terrified, the Earl had his servants wrap the tree's branches in heavy iron chains to keep them from falling, turning it into the chained oak. Those chains still cling to its twisted limbs, like something out of a gothic horror flick. Locals blamed a string of family tragedies, including child deaths, on the curse, though back then, disease and accidents made childhood a risky business, kind of like dodging smallpox or runaway carriages. Curse or not, the legend stuck, and today, this creepy tree is a magnet for thrill seekers. Some touch it for luck, while others swear it's haunted, like a real-life Blair Witch hotspot. Whether you buy the spooky tale or chalk it up to old-school superstition, the chained oak is one eerie piece of history that'll give you goosebumps. Number 14. Baobab tree. Ever seen a tree so huge it could double as a skyscraper in a fantasy flick? The baobab tree is a true giant, towering over 100 feet tall. Think the height of a 10-story building, with trunks up to 33 feet wide enough to hug a hotel gate party. Native to Madagascar, mainland Africa, and parts of Australia, this iconic tree is like the Grand Canyon of the African savanna, with its quirky, bottle-like shape popping up in Asia too, thanks to travelers spreading it over time. Some baobabs are ancient, like Grandmother in Madagascar, a spry 1,600 years old, older than the invention of the printing press. Beyond their size, these trees are a foodie's dream. Their leaves make tasty greens, and the fruit's flavor varies by region. In Australia, it's a tart, sherbet-like zing, perfect for a summer popsicle. In Angola, it's boiled into juices or desserts. And in Zimbabwe, it's eaten fresh or mixed into porridge and drinks, like a natural energy boost. The baobab is a living legend, feeding communities and stealing the show on the African skyline. General Sherman. Meet the heavyweight champion of trees. General Sherman, a colossal giant sequoia that's practically an American icon. Towering in California's Sequoia National Park, these massive conifers can stretch up to 300 feet, taller than the Statue of Liberty, pedestal included, with trunks so wide you'd need a whole football team to hug one. Native to the Sierra Nevada, these ancient giants can live over 3,000 years, making them older than the United States itself. General Sherman, aged between 2,400 and 2,800 years, holds the title as the world's largest single-stem tree, with a mind-boggling volume of over 52,000 cubic feet. Enough wood to build a small town. While taller trees exist, none match Sherman's sheer bulk, though some bigger sequoias have sadly passed on. This tree is a national treasure, like Yosemite or the Grand Canyon, drawing visitors to marvel at its grandeur. But it's not invincible. California's wildfires threaten these ancient wonders, so the Forest Service wraps Sherman in aluminum foil during fire season, like a superhero in a shiny cape. Talk about VIP treatment. General Sherman is a living piece of America's natural legacy, reminding us to protect our wild heritage. The Wynonna Tree. Buckle up for a throwback to America's road trip glory days. The Wynonna Tree, a towering giant sequoia in Yosemite National Park's Mariposa Grove, California, was once a bucket list star, famous for the massive tunnel carved through its base in the late 1800s. Big enough for cars to drive through, it was the ultimate photo op for tourists, way before selfies and Instagram were even a thing. This natural wonder turned the grove into a must-stop for early road trippers, like a vintage version of a Route 66 landmark. Countless visitors cruised through the tree, marveling at its sheer size, back when simple sights could steal the show. But by 1969, concerns about vehicle damage and environmental wear led park officials to close the tunnel to cars, leaving it open for hikers. Sadly, a snowstorm in 2017 brought this legend down, ending an era. Talk about a bummer. Don't worry though, Mariposa Grove is still packed with jaw-dropping sequoias that'll leave you speechless. The Wynonna Tree's legacy lives on as a reminder of America's love for epic adventures and wild places. Dragon's Blood Tree. Ever stumble across a tree that looks like it was plucked from a sci-fi epic? The Dragon's Blood Tree, found only on Yemen's Socotra archipelago, is a real-life fantasy with its umbrella-shaped canopy that could double as a Martian spaceship. These ancient evergreens cluster on a rugged landscape, creating a scene straight out of Avatar or The Lord of the Rings. What makes them truly wild is their blood-red sap, oozing like something from a vampire flick. This dragon's blood isn't just for show. It's been used for centuries to treat everything from stomach issues to cuts, and even as a varnish for fancy violins, a dye for fabrics, or, get this, natural makeup and toothpaste. But here's the kicker. These trees are under threat from climate change and conflict in Yemen, making their home the only place on Earth where they grow feel like a fragile treasure. The Dragon's Blood Tree is a bucket list wonder, blending magic, medicine, and a call to protect our planet's weirdest gems. Crooked Forest. In a forest near Gryfino, Pomerania, Poland, there's a grove of peculiar pine trees, all bent sharply at their bases in a strange, contorted way. This oddity is unique to just this small patch of trees. So, what's behind it? There's no definitive answer, but theories abound. One reasonable idea is that heavy snow buried these trees when they were young, forcing them into this shape. It's plausible. Poland's winters are harsh, and snow can wreak havoc, but some folks aren't convinced. A wilder theory claims the area has an unusually strong gravitational pull. That's a bit out there, unless everything else nearby is warped too, or people feel like they're trudging through molasses. Another possibility? Back in the 1920s, the foresters who planted these trees deliberately shaped them this way. Those crafty rascals. Arizona Christmas Juniper. Ever spot a Christmas tree sparkling in the middle of nowhere, like a holiday miracle on a desert highway? The I-17 mystery. Christmas tree, a 20-foot-tall juniper, stands proud along Interstate 17, about 55 miles north of downtown Phoenix, Arizona. For over 30 years, someone, nobody knows who, has decked it out with tinsel and ornaments every Christmas, turning this desert bush into a festive icon that'd make Santa smile. Technically more shrub than tree, it's shaped like a classic Christmas pine and thrives in Arizona's bone-dry heat thanks to a sneaky irrigation system. 4 barrels of water, set up by an unknown hero. The mystery of who decorates it and keeps it watered only adds to its charm. Like a real-life whodunit for holiday cheer. Known across the state, this tree brings joy to drivers cruising past, like a quirky roadside stop you'd find on Route 66. It's a sweet reminder that holiday spirit can light up even the dustiest corners of America. Wish Tree. Ever dreamed of tying your biggest hopes to a tree and watching them come true? Deep in Brazil's Amazon, the wish tree stands as a living symbol of dreams and good fortune. Its branches draped with colourful cloths, fluttering like festival banners. Native to the Brazilian rainforest, this sacred tree is rooted in indigenous and Afro-Brazilian traditions, where trees were seen as spiritual hotspots, kind of like how Americans gather at wishing wells or toss coins into fountains. Back in the 1950s and 60s, As nearby cities grew, locals and visitors started tying their wishes, written on bits of fabric, to the tree's branches, turning it into a beacon of hope. Now people flock to it before life's big moments, like acing a final exam, nailing a job interview, or saying "I do," hoping for a sprinkle of luck. It's like a real-life vision board, blooming with dreams. The wish tree reminds us that hope can take root anywhere, and it's got travelers adding it to their must-visit lists. What would you wish for? Drop it in the comments below. Elfin Oak. The elfin oak isn't your typical tree, it's a whimsical work of art. This 900-year-old oak stump in Kensington Gardens, London, has been transformed into a magical scene, carved and painted to look like elves, gnomes, fairies, and tiny creatures are living inside it. Originally donated by Lady Fortus from Richmond Park, the stump was turned into this fairy tale wonder by illustrator Ivor Innes. It took 2 years to complete, and since 1930, it's been delighting kids. That same year, it even inspired a children's picture book. Which of these tree tales, the bent pines of Grafino or the elfin oak, has sparked your curiosity? Share your thoughts below, check out other cool stuff on the screen, and I'll catch you next time. And it's time to say goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out our next video. Thanks for watching.